Hey, family, welcome to One on One with Cut Names 50, another banging video review. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Hey, today, man, we're going to tackle Stephen A. Smith interviewing Roland Martin. I'm going to share a screen, go ahead and write into it. But don't forget to click the link, read the full description. I have the full link for the whole video before. Y'all know Stephen A. Smith, Sports Center. Man, y'all already know who it is. But this one right here is controversial, and I see things a little bit more differently. I didn't know they're friends, so you got to imagine that Stephen A. Smith, from my perception, didn't tackle him or he didn't go at him like he would somebody else. Because he said he does respect them, he like him and stuff like that. But when it goes to politics, Roland, did watch some of his stuff, but I'm not a follower. Some stuff, I can't get into it. It's him and what's my guy name? He did some on Undisputed. I do like both of them, covering interviews, but as a positive person, when people get the demeaning or talk down or bashing and stuff like that, it throws me off, and I'm not really interested in pretty much hearing anything else you got to say about, if you're trying to tackle solutions and what we can do instead of race baiting, instead of talking about ideology and whatever else, instead of find the right solution, see how we can come together peacefully, positively, try to lift people up instead of trying to bash them down, accuse them of accusations or misleading people. But that's just my perception. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you know anything about Roland Martin? What's your take on Stephen A. Smith? He doesn't, he generally don't get into politics, but hey, today he wanted to tackle him and he's still learning. So maybe that's a little grace we're gonna give him that he didn't tackle him like that. But let's go ahead and jump right on to it. Hey, family, we're back. We're going to talk about this Charles Coleman Jr. civil rights lawyer right here. And he's talking about this quote, and I guess it was in New York Times opinion essay. Black men today face a unique reality that warrants consideration on the nearly any relevant index for measuring the quality of American life. How far we get in school, our finances when compared with those of white counterparts, and how long we will live. Black men consistently rank last or near last. That is not a black man alive in this country right now who has ever seen black male unemployment equals to or less than his counterparts. This is true even more accurately for a 34-old black man born in 1990 who may have voted in every presidential election since his 18th birthday, saw election of a black president, and spent more of his adult life with Democrats in the Oval Office than Republicans. How could we not be asked ourselves come November which candidate can help us change course? And that's Charles Coleman Jr., civil rights lawyer. Now, just by off of that perception right there, I can tell that he's a Democrat. He said he spent more time with Democrats than Republicans. But myself, if he was born in the 90s, and I just to say something about me, I don't get into politics. I don't think we are supposed to be monitored by politicians and stuff like that. But that's just my own perception. I think we can able to do a whole lot more if we come together and do things peacefully. My light don't went out, but let me pause and we can go ahead back into it. All right, family, we're back at it. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. I didn't want my light to stay off like that, just editing the video and stuff like that. But like I said, I was born just to think that Democrats are for black people and Republicans are for the rich. Instead of until I got older, started researching, playing football, making a little bit more money, and actually looking up some of these policies, you learn that that's opposite of the case. In the history about the Republican Party, who got started in it, how many black minorities they had as leaders and stuff like that of their counties, towns, and stuff. But this video right here gonna touch base on it, and I had to do a little bit of researching for it. But y'all stay tuned. Let's go ahead and continue. And share your thoughts. When y'all came up, what do you think? Democrats is for poor people, and Republicans for the rich. Just like I said, this black man right here. I myself, I don't think so. Growing up in the hood, if I had white counterparts that was in the hood too, it was the same thing. It doesn't matter. Skin color didn't matter. If you're poor, you're poor. Unemployment rate was just the same. Now, when you going up the ladder to white collar jobs and stuff like that, maybe he's talking about that, but I don't know anything about this guy. And obviously, he's a lawyer. So, what kind of issues can he face going up in that law firm? But that's just me, my thoughts. Share your thoughts. Let's go.
Again, that was written by Charles Coleman Jr. He ain't better than my next guest. That article was well written.
And like I said, his next guest is Roland Martin, but that's
He's Roland. He's Roland Martin Unfiltered. That's who I got right here, right now. What's up, big boy? How you doing, man? How's everything?
Charles is nice, brother, but he does belong to that youth group called Mega Sci-Fi.
That's right. Oh, no. I take every word I said. I take every word I said. That brother, will you watch your mouth? Watch your mouth. Oh, by the way, Rose, saw you stepping. Said, oh, damn. Roland was getting it on. I didn't know, bro. I didn't know. Man. Article little. I got you. Keep it going. Because you keeping it going, bro. You was moving pretty damn good. Way to go. Leading the pack, by the way. You were doing your thing in front of an audience. It wasn't a private. You were doing your thing. I got to give it to you. Let's get to this article, Roland. When I read you what I just read, I know you read the whole article, but when I read you what I just read,
I'll tell you, y'all already know these commercials out here. And just like anything else, you see commercials out there do it, say what? The side effects and whatever else come into play.
What do you have to say in that column?
So there are a number of things that Charles wrote that I've literally talked about on my show and actually have been talking about for the last 12 years. So we'll be unpack that. In 2000, first of all, I sent you guys a graphic. So in 2008, Black men, 95% voted for Obama, 5% voted for then Senator McCain. Then it jumps to 11, 2012. Why is that? Because you heard black men were saying they felt that Obama did not deliver. So there was a 9-point gap between black men and black women. So then when you go to 2016, then the number increases. A lot of people kept saying misogyny, they ain't supporting no woman like Hillary Clinton, but they ignored it was 2 men in 2012. Now you go to 2020, it was 2 men, Biden and Trump. And what then happened? Same thing. Okay, you see the number increase. Now, the chart that you just showed is important to understand. Black men,
still up there.
Black men are like all other men.
Now, what I want y'all to do is pause the video, check out these dates right there, and you can see they're saying from 1972 to 2024, black men who voted for the Democrat or Republican candidate. The percentage of it and stuff like that, I guess from 72 to 2024. Let's go to 24 Biden likely voters, 75. Harris likely voters, 80. So, I mean, charts like that, I don't think they show the real basis of it. But that's the data he got. I'm not going to investigate that up, but I did touch base on some other topics that was interesting to me.
They're naturally more conservative. White men, Hispanic men, Asian men, black men.
That's true.
That's a real issue. But come to Democrats, black women are their number 1 voting bloc. Black men are still their number 2. So what do you now like? So what's going on here? What's the difference? What Trump does, Trump presents this tough guy, I'm manhood. I'm a do what I say. I say what I mean. That is attractive. That's attractive to a certain group of men. Now, when Charles was talking about this dissatisfaction in terms of these perceptions that, the Democratic Party is a party of women. Well, first of all,
now, do you agree with him that Trump gives off this, I'm going to do what I say? I mean, he is a rich man. He is going to generally do what he say. He got no reason. I'm not a supporter of any politician, I'll put it like that, especially presidential elect, because the people that are power are going to do what they want to. They don't have but so much power. But we're going to go ahead and continue. And I'm going to touch base back in the video about what is specifically I was saying, something that contradicts what Roland had to say. And I'm not going to jump on Stephen A. Smith. Like I said before, he's friends. He didn't really challenge him. He just was receiving the information. Let's go.
Perception is a lie. And we say sometimes one perception becomes reality. Here's the reality about black men. Who's the highest ranking black man in the Democratic Party? No, the highest ranking African American Democratic Party. You got Vice President Kamala.
Would that be Hakeem?
Right. But the minority leader is Hakeem Jeffries. Who was the person who actually made it possible for Biden to win? Congressman Jim Clyburn. Are there more black male members? The 3 black members of the United States Senate. The 4. 3 men, 1 woman. Okay? 3 Democrat, 1 Republican, and Tim Scott. In the House, there are more black men than black women. We can keep going on and on and on. Now, what brothers are reacting to, and I've heard this for the last decade, brothers are reacting to, all they hear is black girl magic, black girl magic, black girl magic. But what black men got to understand is, we've been the ones getting all the attention for decades. We got to take into account paternalism, sexism, misogyny. So, for instance, if I ask, I guarantee you this, Stephen A., and not just brothers with a high school diploma, brothers with a college degree, if I ask them, how did the Montgomery boycott start? They gonna say, hey, oh, that was Dr. King and the preachers. No, it wasn't. It was Joanne Robinson, Alabama State professor, and the Women Political Council. They're the ones who started the bus boycott. So we have to understand that men, let's go to Shirley Chisholm. When she ran for president at the Black Political Convention in Gary, Indiana, the black men did not want to endorse her.
Right.
They didn't want to endorse her. But we got
so that level of misogyny is not just about black men, it's about men, period. Across the board, whether it's white, black, Hispanic, whatever. Misogyny, stereotypes, those kind of things. I got you.
Men thinking a woman shouldn't do certain jobs or she can't be a leader. Well, the reality is there have been female leaders all across the world. Mexico, female president. India, the Golda Meir here was leading. We can go on and on and on.
Okay.
But what Charles laid out, it is true that it's a huge piece here. What Democrat, and I'm going to say Democratic white strategists don't understand is that.
Man, now I can see where you're coming from when you're saying that certain men have a certain perception that women shouldn't be in certain positions of power. I put it like that because women are leaders also. It's men and women. They're both leaders. Now, I do see what you're saying. Certain positions is too dangerous for women and vice versa. Some jobs men can't take. We're not equal all in that way. We all got our great things that we can do specifically, the man and female. So I just don't get what he's talking about, what that has to do with the men vote changing, maybe because they didn't want to vote for a woman. It was the best candidate during that time. Hillary was going through everything else. But we clearly see, I see the tactics, but I can see the perception he coming from. I guess the data don't say that right there, but share your thoughts. Let me think. Do you agree with him that men have that misogynistic, or is it a biblical view? You know, how women ain't supposed to be pastors and stuff like that, or leading over men. But I see my views on that is a little different. I had to do a whole story on that like that. But I've seen some amazing pastors that are women and blessed with the gift. So they still are married. Their husband is still head of the household, but they're just counseling to the congregation. I didn't see him say anything contradiction, but today's world, man, you see all kind of women pastors and men, even men pastors, just all off the rails. But that's American. So just share those. Let me what you think of the current status of church in America today.
The further you get away from the Black Civil Rights Movement, Black people less self-identify as Democrats. You and I are Gen X. I've been really paying attention to this since I graduated from college in 1991. You and I are in different tax brackets than our parents. You and I, and others are focusing on things that our parents didn't focus on. So what now begins to happen? You now begin to look at stuff different. If you never owned a business, you didn't care about a corporate tax rate. You now own the business, you do.
Yes, you do.
So, pocketbook issue. So what Democrats have not done is they have not crafted a strategy on how do you micro-target Black people. You got to talk to a college-educated Black woman different from a non-educated Black woman. You got to talk to a brother who in rural America different than urban America. They've always had sort of this one-size-fits-all. But so what you're now seeing in the data, you're now seeing people go, you ain't talking to me, so I'm going to start looking at other options.
Okay, and I'm saying to you, and this is where I can get on you, because you dropping facts, I'm not disputing it, but then you'll turn around and you'll point out how folks on the right, well, you know what, they ain't worth a damn. Look at what we trying to do here on the left. But on the left, you've got folks that are strategists that are in the ears and in the head of candidates that are manipulating the proceedings, and they ain't paying attention to our community, like you just highlighted.
Here's the problem. The problem is, strategy don't look like me and you.
Come on, man. Now you hear everything he's saying. Now he just laid out the facts. Stephen A. just questioned, but I wish he would have kept pushing back on it. And he understands, and he won't say nothing on the air because it's live or whatever the case may be. But I know after this interview, he was like, literally, you made all those facts, and they have all these amazing people. The people on the right are just horrible, but the people on the left are better, but they still not doing nothing, specifically for the Black communities, and they're doing stuff for everybody else. I'm going to take it a little further and say they're not doing nothing for American people, period. Yes, some minor things might happen to the wealthy, white people, whatever the case, other races, maybe. It looked like the perception of it, but in the grand scheme, especially look at the pandemic, look at the rates, look at the economy. That affects everybody. No skin color is safe when it comes to paying for groceries in the grocery store. Look at the inflation rate. None of color don't matter when it comes to that people. Look at all these natural disasters out there, and FEMA don't have no money because they done gave all their money away. The government done gave all their money away allegedly to other nations who was in need. Why are we the helpers and we're not looking out for our own? That's the reason why Black men specifically are changing their vote. They're not voting for the Democratic Party. It doesn't matter who is in charge on the Republican side, because generally the Republicans are about their policies. They let it be known. The Democrats hide away or whatever the case may be. But if you actually start looking at the policies, I don't care who it is. I used to be independent. But I still learned that during my private investigator days, I don't think it matters. It's all facade. Because both parties, it's like a uniparty. Whoever they want in there is going to be in there. It's just one side is worse than the other. You choose the left, then you're going to be worse financially, struggling and stuff like that. You choose the right, you might have a little bit more cuts, but it's still not going to be beneficial in the grand scheme of things for anybody. So we're not supposed to be managed by government. They're supposed to be just sitting back, regulating some things. But I think we're capable of doing it ourselves if we ever had a united party vote. And that's specifically for Black Americans or your towns or neighborhoods or even your states, your counties. If you had got together in your county, just like Neighborhood Watch, stuff like that, and unite as a neighborhood, hey, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to change. And going bigger and bigger into a national level, I think we can make changes and actually hold these people accountable. But until then, it really doesn't matter. Let's go. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think.
So the problem, right? So the problem is strategists control the money, control the messaging. They're not paying attention to the streets. They're not paying attention to the ground. So when you listen to the ground, you now got to realize you now have to communicate with people differently. Now, when I went through Charles's column, he was talking about issues of criminal justice reform. We were talking about health, things on those lines. Here are the facts, and it's just flat out facts. When you look at the difference between Trump, Harris, Democrats, and Republicans in the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act specifically has helped Black folks get insurance, which means help Black men. So when Black men say, well, I need to hear something specific. Well, when the vice president worked on 3.5 years, issue of Black infant mortality, that impacts Black men. I had a brother say,
do not buy new windows if you live in Georgia. Americans living in zip codes
and I got my
are
own
being
thing
paid
when
to
it
switch
comes
to energy efficient
government
windows through the
insurance.
Georgia.
I don't think they need to be in there and make you get insurance or you're penalized on your taxes and stuff like that. I got a whole story. I probably just need to do on the insurance market. Being plant-based myself, I believe in holistic healing, but our insurance that we have doesn't cover any of those. You got to pay out of pocket. So what's the need of having insurance if you can't choose the provider that you want to? Well, share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Have you faced this yet, or what have you experienced with insurance?
I said, brother, when she's talking about infant mortality, she ain't just talking about the sister with the baby, because the sister is birthing Black boys. I said, that's
stop right there. I need you to stop right there, because my point is, I ran into to Senator Chris Coon. I know you know who that is, based out of Delaware. All right, Chris Coon, based out of Delaware. He's done some HBCU work with me, and I really, really appreciate him for that. Right. Well, he asked me about a question. I brought up your name because obviously anytime somebody's talking to me about politics, particularly on the left and what they're trying to do, and voices out there that should be listened to and heard, I always point them in your direction, my brother. I never had to. Don't come to me. Listen to that brother right there. He know a lot more about that. I'm venturing into it. I ain't trying to be no expert in this lane. I want a parts of it. But I will say this to you. The messenger matters as much as the message. And if you're going to sit there and say, we've got a vice president who is Black, who is the Democratic nominee for the president, who is a Black woman, who we have a minority, Speaker of the House, in Hakeem Jeffries. He's Black. We saw, Clyburn. He got Biden elected. If you're going to bring up all of these things, then how do these surrogates, how do these folks that are really financing the campaigns and what have you, get away with not paying attention to the Black community when you know you need them in order to win? Why are those folks in power letting these folks get away with that? Are you trying to win or are you not?
Right. And first of all, you're absolutely right. And messages do matter. I can tell you in 2016, on the night of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation ALC dinner, I literally told Hillary Clinton to her face, listen, you're going to lose this because your people got their heads stuck in their iPads, not listening to the ground. I told her, I've been trying to get your Black male surrogates on my show, and your people are not responding. She was high. She literally said to Huma and to Marlon Marshall, if Roland's not getting them, I know others are not as well.
Because they don't care.
You have the voices out there. I can tell you, Black men were saying early in the Biden-Harris administration, where are your Black male administrative folks? And so you're right. You got to be sending out trusted messengers. What the vice president has been doing is he sees it as an opportunity. She's been speaking to them when she's been speaking to the various groups. She's been having a conversation, but you got to have more conversations. But this is now where the challenge comes in.
How many conversations you need to have before you actually take action in something? It's the same old. You some more talking, more conversations, but nothing happens. And that's why people are tired and they're switching their votes and stuff like that. You can't keep running the same game. I remember somebody used to tell me a long time ago, you can't piss on me and call it rain. It just ain't gonna happen.
Here's the challenge.
For a little bit.
Now, Stephen A. And I wrote everything Charles wrote. But I'm gonna tell you something. Tell you what. When the Black women
go ahead, I'm listening.
When the Black women met in 2020, Win with Black Women, they launched that to get her the DP nomination. She got it. They kept meeting. They've been meeting every Sunday for 4 years. Do you know how many times brothers were like, yo, man, we got to meet? And I said, we'll organize. It never happened. Do you know why? Because typically, when stuff got organized in the Black community, sisters are the one that did. So when we did the Win with Black Men call, phenomenal. 55,000 folks were on the call the day after the sisters did. But guess what? it's a whole bunch of these brothers ain't been on the call since then. So here's what I'm saying to Charles and to every black man out there. I can't wait for the Democratic Party to speak to black men. I need black men mobilizing and organizing, speaking to black men about our issues. So I have been, this goes back more than a decade. I have directly challenged my frat, Alpha Phi Alpha. I've challenged all the fraternities in Divine Nine. But also, I challenged the Prince Hall Mason. I challenged black men's groups. See, we can sit here and say, hey, you know what, party ain't doing this here. But this ain't about party. It's about us. It's about us.
Yeah, but they never listen, Roland. Yeah, you know that. Come on, Roland. You know they don't listen. If there's one thing, and you know this be better than most, because you are a black man that speak and you can't stand when people ain't listening, because you know they should be listening to you, and it drives you crazy, okay? You know historically, black folks, black men lament their voices being heard. And oh, by the way, little kept secret, we gonna put it out there on Front Street. A lot of times we don't feel the women are listening to us. And so that plays a role too. And that's not fair. That's not always fair. Because a lot of times they are listening. We just ain't making no damn sense sometimes. So I get that part. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
First of all, black women have been swinging for us for a long time, even when we were silent.
Oh, no doubt.
So here's what when we start talking about policy. When these brothers, I'm in Philadelphia right now, doing the show tonight. I'm at Lincoln University tomorrow. When brothers come up to me and they say, man, I ain't doing nothing, I then go, what do you mean? So when Charles was talking about criminal justice reform, he was like, well, they didn't get the George Floyd Justice Act. They didn't. Biden-Harris signed an executive order. His Civil Rights Division has investigated 12 police departments, one under Donald Trump. So things actually happen. What has to happen is we have to make sure that we...
Now, y'all know I've been in law enforcement over 25 years, and he's saying the Biden-Harris administration investigated 25 police departments. No, they haven't. Y'all forget I was director of security operations for Georgia Bureau of Investigations. Now, you have outside agents that investigate other police departments. It doesn't have, the government is not just jumping in and wasting resources to investigate local police departments. Are you serious? How many people are buying that? The misinformation. So any police involved shootings, any other thing, that's why they got internal affairs who's going to investigate them if they already suspect wrongdoing, discrimination, anything else like that. Reports have to be filed. Then say if it's a deadly shooting, it's automatically like say in Georgia, DeKalb County, a police shooting, and immediately they're going to request an outside agency, which is GBI. They're going to come in, get all the facts, they're going to investigate them. Y'all remember all the stuff that was going out here with the riots and stuff like that. GBI investigated with the DA. Anything that goes on, corrupt cops, they're going to have an outside agency looking in. But that's not, the federal government is not investigating local police department. There's a whole chain of command that goes through there. Why would they do that? You got FBI, you got so many other agencies, DEA. That's what are they investigating? What's the charges or accusations, or what are the claims that they are investigating these police departments about? Let us know. I'm still waiting.
Also, more organized, challenge power to actually get things done. So what should be happening right now is, with less than 30 days, brothers should be asking themselves, okay, everything Charles laid out is great. Here's the question. I'm a black man. What are the 5 things I care about? And where does Harris line up? Where does Trump line up? And if I got more check marks by Harris' name, I ain't even thinking about Donald Trump. Because, see, let's be real clear. I'm going to put this out. You and I, it don't actually matter who wins. They don't actually have a material impact on us because of, frankly, where we are financially. But let me say this here to a brother out there who is asking the questions about unemployment, getting the capital.
Man, that's not true. because you're wealthy, but you still got to buy groceries. So it does matter. Your paper money don't mean anything. The market crash, or let's say we out of power and stuff like that, everything goes down, the grid is offline. You have no money. Now what? Goods and services, everything else. But that's to stick to more likely narrative. Harris getting there, we already see inflation up through the roof. The economy is not going to recover. Trump getting there, maybe it's still going to be bad for a while, but maybe he can get it back on there. The taxes, the inflation rate, he can cap it. I mean, they're trying to do so much other stuff, but you better believe it was a strategy in place for a reason. Even though I'm not a personally supporter of Trump, but per se, because he's, like I said, he's rich, he's emboldened into it, but he does, I mean, his actions speak for itself when you look into it, stuff like that. So I hate when the narrative, all the media, all the social media stuff tell you that he's racist and stuff like that. But look at all the black people he done hired. I think even The View, one of the worst shows out there as far as actually uplifting people, and this misspreading information and always dividing and race. And it's just ridiculous. I'm surprised he's on air, but I see why it's for a specific reason.